So there's like no end in sight, and it's just all a big long road, and you're on it, and just enjoy it.
Right? Well, and you know what? 77 long years of experiences. Anybody that knows your background, seriously, darling, you've got such an eclectic background. You've had so many experiences, and you truly have been living life to the fullest. And I don't expect that to stop anytime soon.
I don't plan to.
Heck no. Yeah. Well, happy birthday, Miss Judy.
Thank you.
All right. Who else? I don't know if anybody wants to top that, but who else has got some good vibes? Maybe some gratitude to share with another member of our office, please. I wanted to give a nice little shout out to Eric Robinson. I don't know if he's on the Zoom call today. However, we've been having quite a few more people showing up for scripts practice. And Eric has been dishing out some pretty awesome nuggets as far as analogies and whatnot, just really making situations relatable. So Eric, I just want to say I'm grateful for your innovation and throwing things out there that really help us move the conversations forward. So I'm going to give that little gratitude out there. Also wanting to say that we also have a new family member joining us. So this is for a nice welcome to Kelly Lou. She joins us from another company that she was with for over 10 years and has chosen Keller Williams Metro to be her new family, to help her reach new levels in her production and new successes in her career. So when you see her around the office, make sure to give her a nice high five after sanitizing your hands, wearing a mask, and everything like that. So in continuing on with the celebration, so welcome, Kelly. We have some additional leaderboard spotlights that we'd like to share with you guys, including the top 15 agents for the month of June. Goes out to Sal, Amy and Gary, Linda, Heather, Stephanie, Carla, I'm reading back in here now, Jeannie, Jay, Bridget, Vinny, Rachel, Bob, Nikki, Kathy, and Bridget. So congratulations on being the top leaders for the 15 agents for the month of June. And then top individuals year to date, we've got over here Sal, Linda, Lisa, Carla, Kathy, Bridget, Chris, John, Chris, and Joseph. So congrats, guys, for being the top individuals year to date. Great job. We have the top 3 groups year to date, with number 1 being the Enriquez group. Woo! Number 2, the Lee Home team. Yeah. And 3, the Manalastas group. Top 3 teams year to date. They're the Blooms again. Hey! The Summer Fruit group trailing them, as well with the La Realty team. So great job, everybody, for the progress. Who would have known that people are still able to pull through despite the pandemic and still finding opportunities there? So also wanting to take a special little highlight. Now, this is something that's pretty cool, not just for the agent, but for our entire Metro family as a whole. So wanted to give a nice little shout out on behalf of the entire office and leadership team to Lisa Bulkin. So if you haven't been following social media, Lisa Bulkin now goes on the record for selling the highest listing in all of Pacific Beach, as well as Mission Beach. So that, I know that took a lot of work going forward. So thank you for your dedication to that success and dedication to your clients. Great job, Lisa. Great job. And also on a little side note, I think we all know the company of the CEO that she represented. I'm not going to mention who. I'll let her decide that just for confidentiality. But it's also just a really cool win, not just for her, but for all of us that are looking to really up our price points to get into that luxury category. So thank you, Lisa. Great job. All right, Broker Bob, I'm going to pass this over to you for any of the coaching updates, please.
Thank you, Stephen. Yeah, Lisa and I are working on the owner. Apparently he's single. So I said, if you don't go after it, let me know.
Lisa, not for long. Come on, girl.
We got a plan. Her and I devised a plan yesterday.
All right. Do we know who's more appropriate for him, you or her?
I think it's me.
All right. Well, you never know. We want to give a big shout out in the coaching program this week. Carrie Dunn opened her first escrow, or opened an escrow and growth. Congratulations, Carrie. You are rocking it. And Paul Tolentino, you got your first BRE signed after being licensed for 1 week. They're both in the program with Alicia. And then congratulations to Surreal, Open and Escrow. He's in the growth program working with Corey. And then to Chris Ross, 2 listing appointments and 1 coming up in the market early September. Great job, guys. Great job. All right, little quick broker update. I just put in the chat box it was updated July 2nd, so we missed that since the last meeting, the CAR website for coronavirus. So there's a lot of FAQs on there for showings. So I hope you guys can take some time to read through that. Here's the biggest question I've been getting from everybody, and I just got off the phone or on a Zoom call with the director for the Department of Real Estate. She comes with our risk management call once a month. And she specifically addressed what the DRE is looking at in regards to agents not doing the best practices. Meaning, the one question I get every week, Broker Bob, can we do open houses? And technically, no. That is the order by the governor that you can't do a physical open house. You can do showings that are scheduled in advance, and everything has to be as virtual as possible and digital as possible. The DRE knows about it. They're aware of it. I get calls every week. Well, this agent's doing open houses in the neighborhood, and they're even putting out signs that just say open house. They're not branding themselves. And what do we do? Well, the DRE is now, they're attempting to handle it as quick as they possibly can. And what they'll initially do is make a phone call to the agent. Maybe the agent's not aware, or their broker's not keeping them aware of how they should be operating. If you do see it, you all want to keep, your eyes out for it. Maybe make a kind gesture to the other agent saying, you know what, you're not following what the DRE says. And, we don't want the whole industry to be shut down because we have rogue agents out there doing physical open houses and letting people come in. And now that we're seeing COVID on the rise in California, hopefully if we keep doing the way we're supposed to be doing it, we won't have shutdown orders, which is why I'm talking about this. We don't want to be shut down again. So if you see something that's bad, report it to the DRE, and hopefully they'll reach out to that person or make a kind gesture to the agent saying, you know what, you can't do physical open houses right now, and you can refer them to this link I just gave you. And hopefully that will keep the entire industry moving and working again, because I don't think we can handle another stay-at-home order in July in a 85-degree heat. Okay, so that's my little broker compliance best practices for the week. You guys all have a great week.
Thank you, Broker Bob. Wanted to pass this over to our strategic marketing partner Spotlight. Many of you are familiar with her just because of the great value that she's provided for us in the past. Yet I'd like to pass it over to Nina with Virtuance. Nina, are you on? Can you chat with us?
I am. For having me. I'm so excited to be back. And just a quick update, the last time I saw most of you, I was going through a lot of medical, really bad surgery. I am happy to say I'm not only back, I'm healthy, and I'm also cancer-free, and I no longer see scary doctors. So I'm joining in the class.
Yes, congratulations.
Thank you. It was quite a journey from September to December of last year. And I do like to share that I was on practicing lockdown before anybody even knew what lockdown was all about, because all of January I was in lockdown to recuperate after that surgery, finally get my driving privileges back the second week in February, and then the world goes on lockdown. So no whining about lockdowning around me. So anyway, I'm here to be back. I'm here to help you with your real estate photography. And so excited to be a partner again, Stephen. So, and Evie, thank you again for the opportunity. So for those of you that don't know me or don't know who Virtuance is, we are a tech company that specializes in real estate photography and listing marketing. And what separates Virtuance from any other real estate photography solution out there is we are the creators of HD Reel. And HD Reel is our own technology that was designed from doing years of research into the psychology of home buyers and what makes them click on a photo. And we studied the features, the angles, the shadows, everything it is that gives that home buyer that reason to go click on your photo versus anyone else. Literally, we have taken the art of real estate photography and tied it to the science of marketing online to provide results. And the best part about that is you could leverage our technology. You could leverage it to be another nugget. You stand out to be the expert that you are. So I think the best part about being with Keller Williams is the synergy. For goodness sake, you guys are the most technically advanced agents out there. You should be working with the most technically advantaged photographers out there. And just to let you know, people like Cody Gibson are using us in every single market that we shoot. And Stephen Evie, you used us in Colorado when you were there, didn't you?
Yep.
Right? So, so many Sal and so many of your other agents use us, and I look forward to working with each and every one of you. And when I join you for these minutes, I want to give you something valuable each and every time. So today, my virtuous valuable tip of the week is to be a real estate referral magnet. And I'm going to put in the chat box, what better time to go back to basics than now and going back to the things that get us more listings, which are referrals. So I'm going to put two things in the chat box, okay? One will be the link for the referral for being a real estate referral magnet. And the next link I'm putting in the chat box is a link to get a 15% discount code off all the services we offer. And by the way, we have all the services you need for virtual open houses, from 360 panos to Matterport 3D tours. And our Matterport 3D tours, by the way, start at only $99 for homes under 2,000 square feet. So we have all those tools. And as I said, a 15% discount code. And best of all, today, I'm also raffling off a free $179 gift certificate to all the services we offer. So let me put this in the chat box first, okay? Let me just put this in, hold on a second. So I have in there my contact information, the link to the referral magnet, and then underneath there is the link that you would click on to get the 15% discount code. And I'm also going to share a Zoom helpful tip, all right, and then I'm almost done, which is, as everybody sees in the chat box, it says to everybody, then across from it, it says file, and next to file are 3 little dots. Did you know that if you click on those 3 little dots, you could save everything in the chat box? Did you guys know?
I had no idea. I know.
What?
I had no idea. We can end the meeting on that note because that's a good nugget.
All right, so that's my little nugget for the day. But wait, you can't end it now. We haven't picked a winner. All right. So if you'd like, we could pick it at the end of the meeting, or because I could break down everybody's name, or I could go through the participants. And you know what? I just noticed there's over 53 people on this call. So I'm upping the ante, Stephen and Evie. I'm not only raffling off a $179 gift certificate, I'm raffling off a second gift of $99, which is the cost of my Matterport 3D tours. How do you like that? Okay.
Very nice.
So if you'd like, I could just pull everybody up on chat so everybody's on, and I could close my eyes and scroll, and wherever I stop will be the winner. Does that sound fair to everybody?
In the participant box?
In the participant box. Does that sound fair?
Yep.
Love
Okay,
it.
I better yet, I'm taking off my glasses, so basically Helen Keller now. All right, so 1 second. Scroll, scroll, scroll. And I just landed on Nancy Perez.
Big again.
Pick again. She's not selling real estate.
All
Well,
right.
congratulations, Nancy.
Yeah, I was gonna say you could take some great glamour shots.
Well, wait, Nancy,
Do
you're
it
not in
again.
real
Do it
estate?
again.
Wait, is Nancy not a realtor or?
She
No,
runs our financial world.
All right, then why don't we, I could pull only realtors. Would that be better? Is that better if I do
Yeah.
it? Yes? All right, so let me just go through again, close my eyes, and I just stopped on Judy Stevens.
It's her birthday.
Happy
Good birthday, girl.
Oh, no,
You're welcome, Judy.
there's your birthday present. All right, you won the $179 gift certificate, okay? And then I have to do one more. Are you ready? One more, and I landed on Melinda.
Yeah. DePerna. Yeah.
So I'm going to ask
Awesome.
both of you, put your information in the chat for me so I could email you and get you your prizes, okay?
Awesome. Thank you so much. That's so generous of you. Congrats, Melinda, and congrats, Miss Judy. Happy birthday, darling. There you go. Well, we're very pleased to have you on board because, again, we are all about quality, and that's definitely something that you guys consistently provide. So thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Would like to keep on with these good vibes and these people that are offering us value. So let's pass it off to Movement Mortgage. Ed, Amanda, Wes, talk to us. What updates do you have for us?
What's up, everybody? Good to see you guys. I love all the beautiful faces. I miss everybody so much. I wish I was standing in front of a room of 50 people instead of being on this call, but still love seeing you guys. So just want to let you know that we are at a place right now where we're touching all-time lows, like all-time ever lows. We're literally within 10 basis points. I'm looking at the live market right now of the lowest rates that we could ever offer anybody. So it's an incredible time that we're in. And, you know, I know a lot of people are doing refinances. A lot of these banks out there are really super swamped with refinances. Movement, as you guys know, as we've told you guys so many times, we always prioritize purchases over refinances all day long. So we have certain timelines to make, certain contingencies to adhere to in those contracts. So your purchases will come first. 21 day, 15 days, we can still do purchases that quickly if we need to. We could do them quicker if need be, if absolutely need be. But we can do it. I know a lot of other banks out there can't. So if there's anything that we can provide you with any kind of service, if you guys are getting stuck in the middle of an escrow or something's going sideways or new overlays are put out there, double check with us because we're following strict Fannie Mae guidelines. We're not creating our own overlays out there. So we might be able to jump in and save the day for you, but rates are pretty incredible, and it's a great opportunity to keep talking to your customers about it. So if they're thinking about waiting, they're like Steven said this morning, they're gonna wind up. They might save themselves. Who knows what prices are gonna do? But even if they might wait and save themselves on the price, the interest rates are gonna go up. So it's gonna balance out. So at the end of the day, it's a great time for all of us, and just keep doing what you guys are doing. I love working with all of you, and please feel free to call Wes or Amanda or I if you guys have any questions. We're pretty easily accessible with our personal cell phone numbers. So thank you guys.
We appreciate you, man. And thank you for showing up at Scripps. Just so everybody knows, we're going to expand this out to the 57 people now on here, is that I challenged everybody in Scripps practice. The threat was that if they didn't do it, I would cry. So nobody made me cry. Thank you. That everybody would at least make a post on Facebook to appeal to, whether it be people to refinance, whether it be for those renters that are paying a mortgage, just not their own, right? What kind of conversation can you create around what Eddie just talked about here to really create conversations to get you engaged in real estate? Don't be that private real estate agent. Don't be that secret agent, right? So thank you for the information that you provide us. Let's keep on with information gathering. A+ Escrow, our very own escrow company. Talk to us.
Hey guys, thanks so much. News.
Can't hear you, Justin.
Oh, you can't? Oh.
Now we can.
Oh, hi. I was just saying that we don't really have any new news in the escrow industry per se, but I haven't seen you guys in a few weeks because I've been really busy. And I just wanted to thank you again for your support and your business. I'm going to drop my contact information down on the chat. And I think I mentioned this last time I was on, but don't forget to pre-open title when you get a listing. There are solar companies and counties and collectors, anything that can happen, the IRS, anything that can happen and get recorded bad on title. It's taking
God, girl, you stink.
It's taking forever, like weeks now, to get things back, to get them cleared. So it is very important that you get your titles pre-opened as soon as you take that listing. We can always re-up the prelim. So yeah, that's it. Miss you guys. Hope to see you soon. And thanks again for your support. Have a good one.
Thank you, Justin. We appreciate you, man. All right, Coach K, you've got a nice little update and bringing us some awareness. So Coach K, you on? Can you talk to us?
I'm here.
Chat with us.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
You got the pictures coming?
Mm-hmm.
So everyone, I asked Eve last night, this is my friend Lindsay, and this little Roddy mix is Mila. Mila is suffering from a disease known as inverted disc disorder. and it's a neurological disorder that she was born with. And when she was a puppy, they couldn't do anything about it. And now she's at an age where this condition is causing a lot of discomfort and pain.
Damn email address.
Yeah, I don't know why you can't access
Go
that
ahead and
email
mute
address.
yourself.
Anyways, Mila, I asked Eve if we could post this to connect with people. We're looking for donations to help Mila with her surgery. She is not in a forever home. Lindsay is fostering her right now. She's a beautiful dog. The surgery here is about 20 grand, but through an organization called We Saved a Pup, they got the cost down to about $3,000 in TJ. So I'm gonna, in the chat below, I'll tag Lindsay's Venmo account where we're sending money, or you can go to We Saved a Pup and make a tax deductible donation there and just reference Mila, M-I-L-A, in the donation. That way the funds will be directly allocated towards her surgery. If you guys have any thoughts, questions, concerns, just let me know. Thanks for letting me share.
Thank you, Carl. Appreciate your heart. Seriously. Thank you, man. Thank you. Let's see, wanting to go into, let's see, the main update, right? So the ongoing trainings, as y'all know, just be aware to keep a look at on the Facebook page for any of those updates and any changes. So far, it's still the same thing. Scripts practice. We got the Come Together Right Now series with Ashley Lund, Command Boot Camp, Command Training. And then in addition, the Contracts 101 series with Broker Bab, Tuesday and Thursdays at 2 p.m. this week and next week. So if you're a little rusty on writing those contracts, make sure to attend, or, you know, just to brush up on some of the new protocols. So make sure you go to those. Wanting to also open this up because I saw a couple people posting some coming soons on the Facebook page. Thank you so much for doing that. That's amazing. We're seeing a lot of upticks in the industry right now. So is there anybody that would like to share any coming soons that you have that's not yet hit the market? Who would like to chime in?
No.
Hey, Carl doesn't want to.
I will.
All right, go for it, Kathy.
Okay. I've got a listing that is coming soon on the market. It's actually listed already, but it's not in the MLS, and it's at 310 Windflower Way. It's a twin home, 1,400 square feet, 3 bedrooms, 2 baths. I haven't even gone in it yet, but I've seen pictures. And it's got a cathedral ceiling, an extra room that could be a study or a 4th bedroom, 2-car garage, $479. So if you've got somebody for that, Oceanside, I forgot to say, is where it is, and it is listed. It's just there's a tenant that's going to be out in a month, but if you want to see it before that, I'll see what I can do to line something up. Okay, thanks.
Great job, Kathy. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
Steven,
Yes, go for it.
I am pitching a coming soon for Emily. 2171 Finch Lane, 92123. So just east of 163 from Linda Vista, Claremont near Sierra Mesa. It's going on the market tomorrow, actually, listed for $749. 4 beds, 2.5 baths, 1,488 square feet, 2-car garage, single family. 2-car garage. It was totally remodeled, not a flip. It was remodeled about a year ago when her clients bought it. Newer roof, like 2 years old, termite clearance already, views from the backyard. And the reason why they're leaving is they're relocating to Dallas. It's getting listed tomorrow, but active on the 16th, and photos will be on tomorrow.
Beautiful. Thank you, Mama Brown. I love your hair, by the way. It's looking sassy, extra sassy. Love it.
I like yours too, by the way.
Thank you. All right. Who else has something coming soon? We got time for one more. If we don't get a chance to talk about it today, make sure to post it on the interoffice page so we can distribute that. Remember, guys, we're still giving a $50 credit to boost onto Facebook through Command. So take these listings, boost them. Any other coming soons?
Yeah, I've got an off market. It's at Park Place. I know we've got a bit of inventory at Park Place. This is a premium view one on the 20th floor. And he's remodeling, waiting for his permits on a place in Coronado. So he wants to stay in place. It's 2-bedroom, 2-bath. He's looking for about 1.5, 1.4, 1.5. But I'm sure he'd be flexible with the right buyer. So if you have one of those wealthy out-of-town buyers that wants just the right place at Park Place at 700 West Harbor, for those of you who don't know downtown, let me know.
Beautiful. Great job, Melinda. Awesome. Awesome. All right. So again, if you have any other coming soons, please make sure to post them on the Enter Office page. Same thing for any buyer needs. Remember, we still have some prospecting agents in here. So if you're afraid of cold calling, that's fine. We got some cold calling kings and queens and everybody in between that are going to be on the phones, prospecting, finding those people that want to sell to find an off market for your buyers. So without further ado, wanting to give a nice little introduction for our very own Ashley Lunn and our panelists, Claudine, Eric, Carmen, and Selam. Now, today's panel is really going to be understanding diversity. There's been a lot of shifts. There's been a lot of shifts, let's just put it that way, and transformations in our awareness. And Ashley's done such an amazing job. If you haven't had a chance to watch them live, please go back and check them out. It's amazing as to what kind of insight you'll be able to receive as to your own mindset, your own awareness, and what your understanding of diversity is. So Ashley, I'd like to pass it over to you to share, your panelists and take it from here.
All right. Well, thank you, Stephen. And I appreciate you saying an amazing job. I don't know that I'm doing an amazing job. I'm just seeking to learn more and more because I realized I have massive blind spots, and I have been really intentional about creating my own world where I wouldn't let a lot of the outside chatter in. And so I have mistakenly thought our world has evolved way past where it has. And I'm so grateful for the 4 agents who said yes today to be on this panel, because I want to know more about their life and their perspective. Not that I can ever fully understand it, but maybe get a little bit more of a glimpse into it and understand better how to be an ally for all of our associates. And I don't think we can do that unless we do understand some of the things that they've experienced. So Claudine, Eric, Selam, Carmen, you guys got the questions yesterday, right? So who wants to share first? First question that I sent to Evie to send to you guys is something that I never ever thought about until I started reading this last month. I don't remember when I became aware of race, and it's become apparent that if you have white skin, you don't usually know, you're not talking about it. However, it's not the experience for most people of color, correct?
I'll jump in.
Okay.
Unless someone else does. So I think your first question, Ashley, was when in your life did you first become aware of race? And for me, I think I was about 6 or 7 years old, and I went into a department store with my mom, and she was, asked to produce 6, 7 forms of ID just to pay for a few pieces of clothing at a department store. And I forget if it was Broadway or Robinson's or Woolworths, I don't remember. And she was obviously very upset. And as we were leaving the store, I asked her, what's wrong? And I'm really young. And she just explained that, it's, as a person of color, you're questioned whether or not you are who you say you are, if you have a certain amount of money in your bank account, what school you went to. And so for her, both of my parents, I think they emphasize that you always have to be the best person you can be. And so that's the first thing that I remember, if that helps. I don't want to have it all the time.
Yeah, thank you. It all helps. And I'm going to guess that wasn't the last time that happened.
Oh, no. Many times. I mean, it's just thinking of just random things, when I was in elementary school, my older sister and I, we went to lunch. It was summertime at a local restaurant, and we were finishing up our food, and the server came by and started sweeping in between our legs, our feet, as we were sitting and watching. And it just obviously wanted us to leave. The the place. And so it was a nicer part of Pasadena at that time. And so we were the only people of color in the restaurant. And so we were definitely made to feel that we were unwelcome. And, you know, those things stick with you. I mean, I distinctly remember it to this day, those things that really stick in my mind. And so I'm always very mindful if I walk into a restaurant or a department store and people are looking at me, following me, it really kind of strikes a nerve with me.
Understandable. Eric, were you coming in there too?
Yes. So for me, like I was aware of race in elementary, but like where it really started to kick in is when, like, you know, as a kid, they tell you stuff, but you're really not paying attention. But it was like I actually had to sit down and have the conversation about police when I turned like 15, 16, you start talking about instant cars. And I'm getting pre-warned about get your numbers up. You have a 50% chance of something happened to you when you get pulled over. Not based off of what you did, but based off of if you got a good cop or a bad cop. And be aware of putting stuff in certain places and saying the right things. And they pretty much tell you you have to talk white when you get pulled over to better your chances of survival.
What in the world does that mean?
So back in the day, that's what people would tell you.
Honey, back in the day, you are not that old.
Well, when I was younger, they would tell you, you know, talk this way, talk more proper, talk with this type of voice, so that if you get pulled over, they feel more comfortable with you. You want to make sure you don't sound like you're a kid from the streets. You don't want to sound like you're black. You want to sound like you know what's going on. You talk real proper. Do not talk with any slang. Make sure you say yes, sir, yes, ma'am.
So Claudine said she was in Pasadena. Where did you grow up, Eric?
I grew up in Cleveland, Ohio. I stayed in the suburbs in Maple Heights. So when I first lived there, it was a majority, it was less minorities. So being there, it was like, if anything happens, this is what you need to do. So they want you to, hey, you need to make sure you're not talking with slang. You need to make sure you make them feel comfortable, even though you're the one getting pulled over.
Very interesting. Thank you. Anybody else?
I'll go.
Hey, Carmen.
Hey, Ashley. So the question was, when did we first become aware of race? So for me, I just want to say this because it is in context of what we're talking about. So I am biracial. I have a white mother that kind of looks like you, Ashley, except a little bit older, okay? And I have a black father. So my experience was I grew up in the military. Specifically, my mom is a German woman with a German accent. My first language was German. I did not become aware of racism until I was in high school. I think part of the reason is that a large part of my younger life as a child was in the military. So we were always around children of different nationalities. A lot of the soldiers would go to different countries and bring women home from those countries. So I was very used to seeing a very mixed group of people. And when I was in high school, my father was out of the military and we were no longer living on a military base. I had a girlfriend and someone called her a nigger lover. And I thought to myself, well, you could be saying that about my mother. So that's when I'm sure there were other little incidents, but I've really been thinking about this. That one is the most prominent in my mind. And from high school on is when I became aware of racism. Now, my mother is the one that is the true hero here because her whole family disowned her for marrying my father. So it affected me negatively because I couldn't get that part of my roots early on in life. I was always wondering who they were and why this was going on. So that's how I was affected by it. But my parents did a really good job of shielding me from it. And I think when you're in the military, I'm not sure about everybody, but we were mainly, excuse me, on the West Coast. And maybe the experience is a little different on the West Coast, not to say that there isn't any racism, because I know there is, but it just really wasn't brought up when I was a child, and no one ever said anything to me. They probably said it to my mother and my father, but not to me.
Yeah. So it's interesting. You just said what I kind of believe too. Yeah, racism still exists, but it's little enclaves and little pockets. And my thought process, I'm not putting this on anybody else, those are the places you stay away from, where the racists live, right?
Right.
And yet what I'm starting to kind of understand is it actually is still very prevalent, but it is much more subdued, kind of undercover. Most of us don't have the awareness of how deep some of this programming goes, which is why I'm so grateful that there's people like you four that are courageous enough to say, yeah, we'll have this conversation. And because with as quiet as it's been, as subdued as it's been, I actually think it's more dangerous. And so shining a light on everything and having these conversations so we can all get more educated, I think is what we can at least do locally. Can I ask a follow-up question? Because being biracial,
Yep.
have you ever experienced ostracization from the Black community?
Yes. So both. Certainly both, but for different reasons, and reasons that I did not understand when I was younger. Gosh, I've got something in my throat. But anyway, what happened to me was I was always a very creative child. So I enjoyed theater, I enjoyed writing, I enjoyed reading. So I would escape into this fantasy world, and that's where I felt the most comfortable. I would always pretend like I was a movie star, or if I was reading a book, I was that character, and that was my escapism. And I felt very comfortable there. But what I've done in my life because of that is I'm kind of a loner. I'm friendly with everybody. I get along with just about everybody, right? And I really enjoy people, but I kind of try to stay out of things. And this has made it very, current climate has made it very interesting, but I appreciate it. I appreciate it. I do.
So it's interesting, and this is my judgment and my perception, and I'm here to be checked on it totally. So with the four of you that agreed to be here, and Selam, you're gonna have to say something, honey. I know you, I want to get to know you better, but I think I know you fairly well, and I've at least observed all of you. And what you just described, my perception is that all four of you stand back a little bit. And I'm curious if that's because of any of this programming around race and being, as Eric was saying, more proper and just less. The word that comes to my head is, do you consciously make a choice to not be seen?
I think that for me, just with what's happened, I'm just physically just spent. And honestly, for me, I felt as though, and still feel this way, that I think it's white people need to really step up and check themselves. I'm tired.
Tell me how.
Well, I think what you're doing, Ashley, you're just doing a phenomenal thing with Emmerich on every Wednesday. I mean, and KW, Gary Keller. Just as a side note, I had coffee 3 weeks ago with an agent from another brokerage. It rhymes with Old Well Yanker. And she was just disgusted with how terrible that brokerage is handling the whole issue with George Floyd. And I was explaining, hey, this is what KW is doing. And she's looked at KW. Anyway, it's not a recruiting thing, but I think that what our brokerage is doing, Ashley, is really phenomenal. And just putting it.
And I totally appreciate that. And thank you. And let's take that out of it. Just as a white woman, how do I need to check myself?
Gosh.
Because you said it. You said why people have to check that. What does that mean?
Well, For me, it's just be aware of just the subtle nuances that happen in society, day-to-day activities. I mean, I think banks, there's still redlining going on in this country where predominantly, minority, not only African-American, but Indigenous and Latino neighborhoods, it's impossible to get a loan. Impossible.
Yeah.
And, so I think a lot of it starts at the top and needs to surf it, to make its way down. But I think it's, anything is in a department store or in a grocery store, and having just a conversation with someone of color. Like a friend of mine was taken aback because a couple of days ago, white woman walked up to him and asked him, "Can you pick out a good watermelon for me?" It's like, what the F? So that's what
Selam. Okay, good. You're laughing.
Yeah, Selam, please say something. Please
okay. So the question with when was I aware of it? It's so hard for me because I feel like it's always been there. So I grew up in East Africa. I'm from East Africa, Eritrea, and I came to the States when I was 9 years old. So I remember like my friends who were Hispanics asking me to wash because I was a little dark. They thought I was dirty. But I thought that was something that just happened. I didn't think of it as like, whoa, that's not right. But I feel like I'm more aware of it now. I don't know, as crazy as it sounds. And because of what's happening, because I have two boys. I have a 7-year-old and a 10-year-old. And I never thought in my entire life that I needed to talk to them about racism. And I felt like I had to, because I don't want them to go to school and to learn about it, to learn about what's happening out right now from their teachers or their friends. I wanted them to hear it from me. So we sat down and watched the movie Mercy. And because I just needed them to see that it's unfortunate, but we get mistreated. We get put back down into, so that we're not going to be any higher. Like I needed them to understand it. And I wanted to explain it to them in a way where it's not white people's fault, because it happens everywhere. Racism is everywhere. It's not just between Black and white. It happens between Black and Black, between Africans and African Americans. It's everywhere. I need
So can I pause you, just because that is such a weird concept if you've never heard that before. And I think that's one of the checks, Claudine, that I've made on myself, assuming that I know more than I do. I know nothing. And I never connected the dots that racism can be experienced by somebody of the same race until I read it a couple weeks ago. And it was an epiphany for me, because it's like homophobia from a gay person. That does exist.
Yeah, colorism.
And it shows how deep the programming really is, and why I think it's so insidious.
Absolutely. Like how everybody else sees on TV, where African-American men are perceived to be criminals. And the crazy part is, us Africans, like I can say from my family, we come here, we don't know anything, but what we see is what everybody else sees. So my parents will tell me, you cannot hang out with African-Americans because they don't know any better. They forget that we're all the same. Like when we walk outside, nobody's gonna say, oh, she's from I'm Black, so it's there. But so it breaks my heart that I had to explain this to my little kids.
How did
my
they
youngest,
take it, Selam?
Huh?
How did they take that?
My youngest was like, Mommy, this is negative and I don't want to hear it. I was like, okay, baby. And the oldest was like, Mom, like, but back in Africa, because I had to explain to them like about slavery, I had to go. And he's like, oh, that's because we don't have the resources. That's why this is happening to us. And I had to explain, no, baby, that's not what it is. But it just breaks my heart that I have to explain this to these kids, because right now we live in Maricopa, which is in Arizona, and it's all we're surrounded with nothing but white people. You know what I mean? My kids' friends are all white. I never want them to feel like, oh, because I'm Black. No, like I had to tell them how I'm sitting down telling you is these people who have racism in them, their parents had to sit down and tell them that they're better than you. So it's not the faults of these people who are racist. It's like, it's conditioned. So I had to explain that to them so they don't feel uncomfortable with their friends.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's, in a way, what's happening right now, I know however way you guys take it, but I feel like Trump being a president, it's like a good thing because it's like, lighten it up. You know, like before.
Expose it. Let's know what we're dealing with. Yeah.
Absolutely. So we all know rather than like hiding how people feel, you know, it just, I don't know. I just think it's a good thing. We can actually talk about it like this. And how you're saying, what can I do as a white person? It's more, it's as hard as it might be to check the person who is going to talk negative about, you know, if they're racist around you, to give it to them right then and there, you know, educate them so that they know a little better is how that's what I think would help us all out, to educate all of us. Because if we know better, we do better, right? That's what they say.
That's it. Yeah. Okay. Thank you. All right. So this is another question. The next one I had was, in previous lines of work, did your race work for or against you? And then segue to, how about in real estate? Because I you know, Emmerich has told me whenever he was showing property, he would be questioned. I mean, there's subtle ways that probably don't feel so subtle from your perspective.
So I'll chime in. I have wondered in previous lines of work if I've been hired to fill that quota, right? That's really about it that I can think of. In real estate, I'm not sure yet. I'm still fairly new, then COVID hit, so I stopped doing the open houses, but I have wondered from time to time, well, would they have chosen me, or did they not choose me because I'm Black, right? So I've wondered about that, but really not too much. This whole climate that's going on right now, to be very honest with you, I have not thought about all of this intensely. Just like Claudine said, I'm spent. I have never in my lifetime, although I'm empathetic because I know other people have gone through something like this. I have not.
No.
So I don't know, but I'm eager to find out as time goes on how that's going to be. For me though, Ashley, I just treat everybody the same unless somebody gives me a reason not to. I look at everybody as one because of the way that I was raised, but I'm aware that not everybody does. But I look at it like that's on them. And until they show me differently, I'm going to be the same way with everybody.
I think it's a wonderful way to go. And I am the same way. And again, that's why I was so blinded to not very far outside of my circle or some opinions I really disagree with held. So, and that, look at many people saying, me too, that's the Metro family.
Yeah, that's one reason I really like being at Metro, at KW Metro. I think you're doing a great job by having all the speakers on, by even just, I have never sat in a panel and had this conversation with anyone. Certainly with people that are close to me in my life, my friends, but a panel discussing race, nobody's ever asked me my opinion, but they've certainly given me theirs.
Ooh.
And
and that, by the way, I would define as one part of white privilege. Let me tell you what you should.
They don't want to know. They don't want to know. They don't want to know. So
Eric, what, man? You're smiling big. What do you got?
The military. So there's this, right before I got out, there was this big thing about when females have locks. But a lot of people don't understand locks and dreads are nothing but another form of braids. So girls could have braids, but they couldn't have locks. And there was no instruction that said that they couldn't, as long as it wasn't, their hair was long enough and wasn't touching their collar. But you have people buying wigs to cover up their locks because their leadership is saying you can't have that. But then you have white males who have haircuts or mostly comb overs where they have this part going through their head, and that is out of regulation, but nobody ever talks about that. That's okay. So now it seems like a sexist and a racist thing at the same time.
Well, it could be.
Yeah.
Sorry.
And then I've been through situations where I've seen two people get punished at different times, but because of the color of their skin, the minority will get a harsher punishment. There was more added onto it. I had one of my friends go through it, and they blamed it on his rank. And he's really just like one step higher, and it's really like this kid had the lower rank had multiple infractions or things he done wrong. My friend's like, well, he basically, when ATMs you could hit like the next transaction, somebody left it over, and all he did was hit yes, and then just seeing if he can get the money out, and he went and turned the money right in. The other guy, he got caught and actually spent the money, and they found out about it, but he only got restriction, but my friend got restriction and lost rank.
Wow.
So it's like just going through the military, you can see the differences of what's happening.
That, again, something I've read a lot about, that is a blind spot of white privilege that there's been so many studies on. That doesn't matter if it's military or school or in the courts and jail system, there's that unintentional, unconscious choice to punish people of color much harsher.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so pervasive. And one of the articles I was reading was about even in schools, teachers, especially, not solely, but especially if it's white teachers, call on Black kids less, even if they're raising their hands more than the white kids.
It's like one of my friends asked me today, because I was talking about the questions I was going over and what I was going to say, and he asked me, well, have you seen it the other way? I'm like, it's hard to judge that because I've only had one Black CO my whole career, and COs get changed out every year. So it's like, I can't really answer this question because there's also been less opportunities for me to see that. I'm not saying they didn't get moved up because of their color, but it's like, if I can't say too many people are in that position, I can't voice it the other way. So it's just like, I've always seen it this way. And like, even the military is supposed to be held at a higher standard, but it's still the same.
Well, and just from my perspective, I grew up in a very poor part of Vegas, and I was one of the only white kids in my school, in any of my elementary school or junior high. But it was all mixed races, just very few white people. However, I've been thinking about it and thinking about it and thinking about it. Through my entire school history, I had one Black teacher. One. That includes college, by the way. Yeah.
And I would say the only other thing for me was, before I joined the military, I worked at Enterprise as a porter. And as a porter, you drop clients off and you drive the cars back and you wash them and clean them. And somebody rented a Cadillac into the nice part of town, so I dropped her off. But on the way back, I got pulled over. And they never asked me for license and registration. They asked me, where did I get the car? You can see me in a white polo with the E on it for Enterprise. You see the Enterprise sign on the back, but I had to call my boss to let them know, like, he drives the car, he works for us. This is his name. This is the kid. We know he has a red Cadillac.
Wow.
And it's like, as an 18-year-old, you know to just go with it. Because if I fight you, this could go a lot worse.
Well, and that's where my anger starts to come out, because if any of us, who do have white privilege, see an injustice or experience one, we can speak up and say, that's not right. And if you do that, you might get smacked down or worse. I mean, you really have to be very sensitive to that.
I was like, when you say people step back, it's more one, you don't want to risk everything because it can make either matters worse for the person you're trying to help or make matters worse for you. And then it's like you have to know when to speak up, because I've seen racism on both sides. I have a cousin who grew up in a white neighborhood. So when he came down to visit me and my cousins, we had a cousin who stayed in the bad side of town. So when he came to hang out with us down there, it's like we had to protect him because now we have Black people attacking him because of the way he talks. Because of the different environment he's in, he talks more like the people who are up there. I don't want to say like talking white, but like that's what they said to him. He talks funny, he talks white, let's get him. Like they're trying to pick on him. We got to protect him because now Black people are being racist towards him just because he's been more privileged.
So the piece we didn't get to, and we only have 4 minutes left. Hopefully you will all say yes when I'm inviting you back for a follow-up, because we're not going to get through the questions I wrote. But I am curious, as realtors, do you feel that, I mean, we're in a very white industry, in a fairly white city. So I've got to assume it's played a part at some point.
Oh, it happened to me, I want to say about 5 or 6 years ago, maybe a little longer. I was KW and I got a lead from SD Lookup. That's when SD Lookup was still at our market center, and had great conversations with them. It was just going to be an initial meetup just to go over, what your interests are. They wanted to buy a condo downtown, set the appointment. We met at a coffee shop, and the looks on their faces when I walked in was just, and the conversation, I got all the information, but suddenly the following day, it was excuse after excuse. We're going to have to hold off on our going through with this further. And about 2 months later, I think I was doing an open house downtown, and I saw those people with a white agent from another brokerage, and she was showing them, and that agent's lovely and she's a friend of mine, but for me it was very obvious. I just knew that, I know it's happened before, that.
So Claudine, with that, and I mean, really, I'm getting hot, and I know it happens, but damn it, with somebody that you care a lot about, do you ever feel like, gosh, maybe I should let them know, like, become friends on Facebook or something, so they know, so you don't waste your time?
For me, it's just, as I've said all along, there's plenty of business for everybody,
Yeah, but damn it, if you can avoid that experience with some ignorant person on the other side.
True. Maybe that's something I should do, but for me, it's just.
I don't want to say shoulds. I just wondered if that had crossed your mind.
Yeah, no, I just move on. Plenty of fish, plenty of opportunities.
Bridget said they lost out big time by not choosing you. Yeah, they did. But you also dodged a bullet.
Yeah, I think so. Absolutely.
Okay, anybody else? 1 minute. Who's going to close us out?
I haven't experienced anything in real estate.
No?
Probably because I work mostly with military. So it's like they want to work with me because they know I'm military. So I know the lingo and they want to talk to me that way. But I've always had great experiences in real estate. And I thought it was more because San Diego feels more diverse because it's a military town than other places I've been.
Well, and I would agree to a certain extent. And again, we're in an enclave. There's parts of San Diego County that are not that diverse. And Melinda even said when she was up in North County, it was a lot worse. Where I personally live, it is incredibly white and blind to a lot of the issues. So thank you all for, I know this isn't necessarily easy, and with 50 people on here, you don't know everybody. We're trusting that this is a safe conversation. And I really appreciate you all showing up and sharing.
There's so much more to say, so let's do this again.
Absolutely. I've just told Evie, yeah, we're going to schedule another one. We just got to look at the calendar, and it's not going to be that far out. So,
yeah, I think this conversation is really important to have this conversation.
Absolutely. And again, part of me hates that we have to go through this. The other part of me is so excited that we're getting to learn a different way.
Yeah,
Needs
I
to be
agree.
both. I'll talk more about this when we talk again, but yeah, there's a lot that needs to be said and done.
Awesome. All right, Metro, thank you.
Thank you so much.
And Judy, we've talked about that too. We are going to include other minority groups. All right. Thanks, guys. Have a
Thank
great
you,
week.
Ashley.
You too.
Stay safe.
Thank you so much.